Hello again. This is take two of the Researcher Ponder doing what I am calling the aftershow show. The aftershow show. I just did a show, and this is post-show thoughts, which I've been doing recently. If you like this sort of thing, subscribe, share. Go to the Patreon. There'll be more behind the scenes kind of stuff. But anyway, let's get started. Today's show was in Barnsley. I am currently in Leeds. Whenever I am anywhere Yorkshire based, I stay in Leeds Best Hotel. This glorious room behind me is the Quebec's Hotel, and I am unwinding post-show. I just ate fast food. This is why I am increasingly overweight because you end up eating fast food late. But the show was for stand-up. It was called Stand Up to Suicide. It was for a wonderful charity called Suicide Sucks. Now, as a comedian, you can't just do charity shows. You wouldn't make enough money to eat. So you pick and choose which charities you accept. So I generally will do Malawi-related charities, a few Africa-related charities, and of course some mental health charities, which is increasingly relevant because, we've got cost of living crises all over the world, people feeling like they can't make ends meet, which leads to depression. We've got, social media and people living on screens, not connecting to each other, which again causes depression. There's increasing isolation, increasing depression, increasing feeling like there's no way out. Okay, so essentially this was a charity to raise money for kind of mental health and communication and stuff like that. It was very good. And I debuted a routine in it. What I try to do is every time I perform, I try to play with an idea. Now, this is not the final version of the joke, of course, because what I do is I play with an idea and then I'll take 2 or 3 performances for me to figure it out, right? So I start layering examples. So the key premise underneath it was, because this was a mental health charity and we're talking about masculinity, which has been in the news because Louis Theroux did a wonderful documentary kind of exposing elements of the so-called manosphere, right? So what's masculinity? What's being a man? And one of the things which I was talking about is men bottling their feelings. I'm a man, I'm not going to show my feelings, which particularly my generation was really a pandemic, like literally showing weakness, crying made you a girly man, made you not a real man. But it's really important to air your feelings, right? But this is where I now do humor. This is now where I make it funny. The premise which I spoke of was you can't just talk to men about their feelings, right? The same way that physically women need foreplay before they're going to get busy, men need emotional foreplay before they can talk about their feelings. You can't just walk in and tell a guy, hey, how are you feeling? Are you sad? Are you lonely? That doesn't work, right? You literally need a lead up. You need at least half an hour of talking about sports or talking about, playing video games or something, and then you rev yourself up. And of course I was very silly about it, so I'm saying to women, don't say let's talk about our relationships. Ask him what he thinks about it. And I'm going to play with different sports events over the last year, maybe the last decades. I might even go as far back as, what do you think? To talk to them about Southgate missing that pivotal kick, and then when they get emotional about that, you slip in a chat about emotions. Anyway, all I'm saying is that was the humorous angle which I went with. That men, you can't just go in on the emotional thing. You have to open us up, get us comfortable, and then we'll talk about it. Right? Distract us with, you know, Star Wars or something for 20 minutes, and then just as an aside, be like, "Oh, how are you feeling, by the way?" And I was being silly, but underneath that, there was something real. Um, all the people asking me questions, I will answer questions later. First, I'm just getting out a few thoughts, but um, you've got to talk about how you feel, but it's also not easy, right? And also, you've got to know that you can't just tell someone open up, because it's not easy for everyone. Some people need ways to open up. Some people like me, I remember there was a big thing where I had a girlfriend in Canada, a wonderful ex who I actually saw recently. But she used to get frustrated because when I was depressed, she just wanted to hold me and ask me about it. And that was not how I wanted to deal with my pain. In fact, that just made me feel worse. So I'd go hang out with another friend of mine who would make fun of me, and we would just laugh about the problems, and it would make it feel less painful. But the problem was the person I went to, Mary, was a woman. And so my girlfriend was jealous that I go when I'm depressed to this other woman instead of to her. But it was more that she was closer to my masculine way of dealing with pain, of just laughing about it and pretending it's not a problem for like 40 minutes, and maybe like for 5 minutes be like, actually, this is a bit rough. Oh, yeah. And then go back to laughing and ignoring it. All I'm saying is we all have different ways of dealing with the things which stress us. There's no right way to. It's about finding the way which does for you. But I think the more important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that I think the biggest thing is basically having a view of the future. Because the thing that makes you give up is being stuck in a moment or a habit where you feel like you're never going to get out of it, right? You feel like, life is often terrible, but we've got to have that ability to look forward and be like, there'll be a different future. It might be better, it might be worse, but it's going to change. And the problem is sometimes we can be stuck there thinking that this moment is all we'll ever know. So anyway, that's what we did. It was a wonderful charity. And that's all I've got to say about that. There's a lot more to be said about that. But that's sort of my summary of the thoughts that I was thinking about. One thing which was funny is in the gig, there was this very beautiful woman at the front, and I made fun of her when I was on stage, a little bit of banter. And then it turns out she was the person who was the speaker after me, telling a really depressing story of how she'd endured all these struggles and all these things. And I'm like, I just made fun of you. Of all the people in the room, of course, my radar went to the one person where it was inappropriate that I mocked them. But actually, it was fine. We chatted later. And no harm, no foul. It's just like literally, of all the people I could mock, the person who's been... But maybe that's what laughter is for. It's how we cope. And she had a sense of humor about it. So all is well.